This is Super Yacht News with E. Sisman. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. It's 15th of March. We have another busy news day. Quite a few things happened today, especially in Spain. We've had 3 vessels being arrested in Spain because of the EU sanctions, one of which you might remember from one of the first videos after the invasion of Ukraine. I talked about a Ukrainian chief engineer who tried to scuttle or tried to sink the boat he was working on because he saw news articles of helicopters and planes firing at buildings and that, and his boss makes that equipment. So he decided to scuttle the vessel, and then he went home to Ukraine to help fight. That yacht has been arrested today in Spain. So the 3 vessels were Yacht Valerie, that was in Barcelona. Lady Anastasia, that's the boat that the Ukrainian chief engineer tried to sink, that was in Port Adriano. And Yacht Tango, which is in dry dock in Spain. So the first one, Valerie, is an 85 meter or 279 foot super yacht with a value of $140 million, belongs to Sergei Chemyazov. And he is a former KGB officer, aren't they all, who heads the state conglomerate Rostec. 2 sources have told me. Now he's the alleged owner or the believed owner, but the actual owner of this yacht is a company in the British Virgin Islands called Dilemma Services, and the company is registered in the name of Anastasia Ignatova, who is Chemyazov's stepdaughter. The second vessel, as I said, was Lady Anastasia. That's a 47 meter or 156 foot vessel, and that was in Port Adriano, as I said. The Civil Guard Maritime Service sealed off the vessel, and they said it's provisionally prohibited from moving or even loading fuel, so it's been arrested. Security guard now watches over the access to the ship, whose name has been covered up according to the Nautical Gazette. The owner, Alexander Miev, he's a weapons manufacturer, as I said, and he makes aircraft and helicopters, and according to the chief engineer, his company also makes rockets and missiles, but I was not able to find that on their website. If you want to know more about that, I would recommend, I will put a link in the top corner or somewhere where you can go and watch that original video. And the third vessel that was arrested is Yacht Tango, and that was in Mallorca. So she's been in refit in Astillero shipyard in Mallorca since the 9th of February. Tango was a Fed ship, was built by Fed ship, and is 77 meters long or 254 feet. And her owner is presumed to be Ukrainian Viktor Vekselberg. He's an aluminium tycoon, and he also has a Russian passport and an Israeli passport. Now, I say it says there he's presumed to be the owner because obviously they very rarely have these boats in their own names. Like I said, mentioned the previous one, there's a company in the British Virgin Islands, but it's registered in his stepdaughter's name. So this is how a lot of it is done. So they're holding the vessel while they look at the paperwork to establish who the actual owner is. Now they're using a phrase now, beneficial owner. So it doesn't necessarily have to belong to the person on paper. It can, if they can find a link to that person, then they still seize it or they still arrest it. He's not on the European sanctions right now, although the customs inspection is making inquiries that could lead to its inclusion in the EU list. They've given the paperwork over to the authorities and they're checking them out, so it could go further. It might be released yet, so it's a little bit of a grey area on that one. Okay guys, and the last thing I want to talk about today, is a little bit a short one hopefully, is Yacht Solaris. I mentioned last night Abramovich has been included in the EU sanctions. His vessel was at anchor in Tivat in Montenegro, and I said that it started to leave and then turned around and went back, and it was still at anchor. Now, as I was uploading that video last night, I checked again and he had already left and he's heading south now. Now, he's going quite slowly. He's only doing about 6 knots. And if you look at the destination they've put in there on AIS, it says awaiting orders. I've never seen that. It's quite interesting. So basically they are awaiting orders. It's a bit like saying, jumping in a cab and saying follow that car. You don't necessarily know where you're going. So yeah, so that vessel is awaiting further orders. It's interesting. It's going to be interesting to see where Abramovich ends up with his vessels. Now, what is also quite interesting is as this vessel Solaris is coming south through the Ionian Sea, there, Eclipse, which raced across the Atlantic at 18 knots, has been traveling through the Mediterranean Sea at 6 knots for the last few days, and they're kind of heading towards each other currently. I don't think they're going to meet up, but it looks like they're sort of treading water until they get further orders. So I would imagine that's why Eclipse slowed right down as well. Anyway, guys, that's all I've got for tonight. Let me know in the comments what you think. If you've got any, if anyone is on a cargo ship or anything and you've passed either of these ships recently, be sure to send me a photograph if you have one, or let me know its position as you passed it. It will be really interesting to see. I've got a little theory about Eclipse, but if anyone's seen Eclipse in the Mediterranean heading east towards Greece, then let me know. All right, guys, thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch up with you soon.